Today's beverage is brought to you by my lip color, some Coke. Hello everybody, we're back at this kind of angle, a little different, because I got a new desk. It's exciting, so you don't see the big Union Jack flag, but I'm in my comfy chair again. Anyway, so today's video is an exciting one, and I meant to film this a while ago, but I didn't, so whatever. Anyway, I read all 4 of the books in the SMART JOCKS series by Rebecca Zhenjak. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, in 1 week. And here are my thoughts on it, and I hope you guys are excited. So, backstory, I recently got into romance books, and the specific type of romance books that I personally have found I love are sports romance, contemporary sports romance books. And this is kind of the first glimpse into basketball books. So huge sports fan, particularly huge football fan. So this was a little different, but you know, I was watching the NBA playoffs and I was like, okay, but I'll take some basketball. And that's where this series kind of came in. I was searching Goodreads for a new book, new-ish to read, and so I stumbled upon this series. And I read the first one, which was The Assist, and loved it and moved on. And like obviously I had to finish the whole series at that point. So there's 4 books in the series and 1 is coming out. And in order it goes The Assist, The Fadeaway, The Tip-Off, The Fake, and coming soon is The Pass. So this is kind of similar to kind of Elle Kennedy's Off Campus series or the Briar U series, or Sarah Nay How to Date a Douchebag series, where they're kind of all interconnected somehow, either the same team or the same girl, generally something similar like that, like friends of friends that you've met in the first book, but also could all be read as standalone books. So the first book, called The Assist, is about Blair and Wes, and obviously if you have seen any of my highly liked sports romance books, you'll understand that I love this kind of trope of a beautiful girl, really studious, wants and needs help or needs a tutor. So either whether, I like the tutoring aspect. Also, I should say after the series, I realized I needed to stop reading college books or books about kids in college. I was like, girl, you're way out of college. Stop trying to relive your glory years, kind of. So, with that, obviously, I literally listened to a new one yesterday when I was driving home from Michigan. So, we'll see how long that lasts. Anyway, so Blair, she's a sorority student and she needs help in the statistics class because she needs it to get into the master's program at the school. And actually the professor of the class is the one who like runs the admissions or is really big into this MBA program that she really wants to get into. And she saw that Wes got a great, like I think an A on his exam, and she's like, I need your help. Or she's like, it got off to a shaky start because she's like, I want, like, can whoever's tutoring you tutor me, who is the sports tutor? And he's like, you didn't think I'm smart enough to do this on my own, kind of thing. So anyway, they end up having a game of like horse or pig, I forgot which one, and the winner would tutor. If she won, he would tutor her, and he kind of let her win. I should also say that Wes is currently injured from playing basketball. He has a cast on his leg. I forgot what that issue is. Anyway, so they start tutoring. Obviously, he really likes her. She likes him. And they find out more about each other, and they fall in love. And he actually ends up getting re-injured, and then he kind of shuts her out. There's also this thing with her ex-boyfriend who is kind of blackmailing her, and she's doing his homework, and there's a trope of him kind of being very overprotective and trying to protect her from her ex-boyfriend, who's a douchebag. Yes, there's harsher words I could use, but that's it. And either way, it is a great book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. That's because you know, at this point, nothing can live up to The Studying Hours by Sarah Nye and The Deal by Al Kennedy. Like, those are like my golden standard, and nothing can live up to it. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but it was a great book. So with that, I was like, okay, we got to go on to the next one. So the next one is the Fadeaway, which is Katrina, who is Blair's co-worker at the local cafe in like the student union, and Joel, who is obviously another basketball player. He's very wealthy. His dad is the president of the university. He's the one who bought the big basketball house. He is Hispanic, and Blair always joked about him, like, you need to start speaking Spanish to kind of get a girl. And the kind of plot twist is she was a teen mom and she has a child, and her baby daddy is kind of out of the picture-ish. I mean, he is in the show, and she's like, she finally needs his help for one of her like screenplay classes. She's like a theater student. At first she was a writer, but I wasn't sure if she was also directing, but she needed kind of Hispanic knowledge and he introduced her to his parents to kind of get that knowledge about like how they came to America, why they did it, everything like that. And that's when he finds out that she's a kid. It kind of came out, and she's like, oh, you weren't expecting that, you know, you've been asking me out for months. Plot twist, this is kind of why I said no. And he was really sweet and kind of really loving of the child, and happily ever after. This book I didn't like as much because it just like, it wasn't kind of the story I liked. I will also say that I didn't read these in order, so this was actually the last one I read, but it was still pretty good. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, not because it was bad, but in terms of ranking of romance books I have read. And I just like feel there wasn't as big of a happy ending at the end, and I really like happy endings at the end, like where they are engaged or married or something's happening. Like, that makes me very happy, and I just feel like something, it wasn't set in stone that they were gonna end up together. Which leads us to the third one, which is my least favorite of all of them. I actually don't think I rated it in Goodreads, but I'd probably give it 1 out of 2 stars. So this is about Gabby and Zeke. And Gabby is Blair from the first book's best friend from like high school. And she got in a car accident when she was like 16. She has like a really bad scar on her face, and she is finally coming to their university. I think it's kind of like an Arizona State University or University of Arizona type school. And Blair kind of convinced her to come to school. She was still at the school, but she was taking classes only online, I should say. And so she's finally coming to this university, and she's like living there the semester before she like starts taking classes in person. And while everybody else goes off to spring break, she stays. And Blair asks Zeke, who is one of Wes's and Joel's teammates, who's about to enter into the draft, the NFL draft. He's like the best player in the team, to like watch over her. And so she's like doing all these things. She has like a list of things to check off before like she goes to school officially. So she seems like a normal kid. She's really embarrassed of her scars, like people always stare at them. And I'm trying to think of what else really happens. Anyway, so Zeke has a new kind of like PR person he was sent with to kind of help him prepare for the draft. And he's like very anti-social media. He's kind of like how I picture basketball players, like very kind of moody with like their Beats headphones on. Like, he was really big into headphones and music, and there's a lot of mixtape exchanging, which I love in this book. But he always like had headphones on, very secluded, like his life was basketball. So he didn't have social media, so she kind of ends up helping him because he got really frustrated with that whole portion. He's like, I don't want to put my life, so she starts taking pictures of him, posting it, trying to help him prepare for the draft. Anyway, what I hated about this book is I could not see them end up together. So at the end, spoiler alert, at the end he proposes to her, and in the next book they're talking about her planning a wedding. He ends up getting drafted and going to the Phoenix Sun, so like still in the relative area, and she's like visiting back and forth. She's like the sweetest person as can be or whatever, and I just like, they never really formally went on a date, and I just didn't feel like, I feel like this would have been like a cute ending of like, oh, we're dating or we're like together, but like engagement seemed like a really far stretch of like, I just don't see this marriage lasting, because I never really felt a very strong connection and like long-term commitment or something from these two. Like some romance books, like you're like, okay, this engagement took a little to something or other. Like what was the book I just read? What was it called? Fake Fiance by Elsa Madden Mills. Like that one, that engagement at the end was like a stretch, but like I kind of get it. But this one, like I just didn't get it all. So I didn't like this one. This relationship, I think it could have had a better storyline if that's how they wanted it to end. Anyway, going on to the fourth and final book as of now. I'm very excited for the next one to come out, despite me seemingly not liking these. I really do like them. Anyway, so this one is about Nate and a new person coming in named Chloe. So Nate is, his father died, and his mom, she had really deep depression. She got fired from her job, and they're struggling financially. And he wants his brother to have the same opportunities he had. His brother's in high school, so he's trying to send money back to his brother so he can play hockey and, you know, potentially get a scholarship and not have to work as a high schooler. So he is dealing drugs, and he got caught, and now he's kind of struggling, one, to make money, and two, just in life. Enter Chloe. She's a new transfer from the student. She went to, I think it's like a UCLA type school, and she had to leave because it's kind of, her parents kind of bought her admissions in. She comes from a very wealthy family, and she's a beach volleyball player. So they meet at this sports banquet, and she's trying to get her new team to like her because they think that her parents bought her admissions into their school and to their team, even though she's a great player. So anyway, Chloe says she'll pay Nate to, after like a one-night stand, they meet at a party the next day, and Chloe says she'll pay Nate to be her like fake boyfriend because he's so popular on campus, especially as a basketball player, and is attractive, that like her team started warming up to him thinking that they were dating. Either way, so she says she'll pay him to be her boyfriend, and obviously there's true feelings involved. He ends up paying her back because he wants to like really start dating her, and I just thought it was a really cute story. I think I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars, which is pretty, it was a good story. It was feel good. I liked the new girl. I wasn't sure how much I would like having 2 athletes. It definitely complicated their kind of relationship because they couldn't see each other that much and they were both traveling. But I really, really liked this one. So I might try to find more of 2 athletes. And I just love an empowering female athlete. I love it. So anyway, this was a kind of shorter video of me just describing 4 books to you and giving you probably epic spoiler alerts, but also, did we ever expect any of them not to get together at the end? So with that, I'm going to end this video. I am really proud of myself for not rambling long and long and long, even though that's what I'm doing right now. So anyway, have a great time and leave recommendations for other sports romance books you love. Bonus points if they're not in college.